In our Sunrise Smart Start, an update to a fatal hit and run from this weekend.
The victim of that wreck in Gates this past Sunday has died. Authorities say the victim is 55-year-old Brenda Wells. Gates police say they've recovered the vehicle involved in the incident and the investigation is ongoing. A Rochester man has been found guilty of shooting 3 people in a strip club back in July of 2021. This happened at a club on Anderson Avenue in the neighborhood of the Arts called The Barrel. Police say they found 2 men who were shot outside the club. Another was shot inside. Michael Parnell was identified by investigators as the shooter of all 3. The 30-year-old should be sentenced February 22nd for attempted murder in the 2nd degree, assault in the 1st degree, among other charges.
Still developing this morning, Raymond Gerard, the man accused of threatening Monroe County officials, appeared in court yesterday.
We learned Gerard is being charged with a felon in possession of ammunition. That carries a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison. Investigators say the 34-year-old repeatedly called the Monroe County office building starting in December of 2022. They say he left increasingly aggressive messages. They add that a video of Gerard pointing a gun unprovoked at someone outside a gas station was discovered, and that increased their cause for concern.
46-year-old LaJason Levette will be arraigned this morning in Rochester City Court. This for a fatal stabbing during the fall. The victim, 34-year-old Corey Dubois, was stabbed multiple times on Engle Street near Lyle Avenue in Rochester on September 8th. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Levette is charged with murder in the 2nd degree. Police also say Levette was on probation for a previous assault conviction at the time of the murder.
Rashad Albert Brown has been convicted of a 2021 murder in Rochester. Investigators say in December 2021, Brown and Terrell McKnight got into a heated discussion. It eventually turned physical. The next day, Brown went back to the house and demanded to see McKnight. He then shot him outside the house 3 times. He died a day later. Brown will be sentenced in late February.
Newly appointed Irondequoit Police Chief Scott Peters is taking legal action against civil rights attorney Nate McMurray. This after McMurray claimed Peters attended a mock Juneteenth party in Rochester over the summer. McMurray represents the black firefighter who says he was forced to attend that party. That firefighter is suing the city of Rochester and the Rochester Fire Department. Peters and his wife are taking the legal action, claiming his assertions are defamatory. They say in legal paperwork, text messages prove they were not at that party. We have reached out to McMurray for a response, but we have yet to hear back.
All right, 6:50 right now on your Thursday morning, and many of you getting ready to get out the door, so let's check in with James for one more check of the forecast.
Yeah, hey, we're good right now. We're good for the next hour and a half. I might even give you 2 hours until we start to see some sleet. That moves in, depending on location, around plus or minus an hour, 9 a.m. So we'll say after sunrise. You're in the Finger Lakes, you get it first. You're along Lake Ontario, you'll get it after that. And it could make roads icy, so get that morning walk in while you can. By this afternoon, we'll be climbing to near 40, so everything turns over to rain. We'll take a look at the weekend in a couple minutes at the end of the show. Casey, Mel.
All right, James, thank you. Taking a look at the roads again this morning. Things are still looking really good out there. I'm not seeing any new accidents or any reason that the main arteries would be clogged up this morning. As of now, 390, 490, and 590 are running on time. We do have updates for you throughout the morning, so if anything changes, we will, of course, let you know.
All right, turning now to a critical new study surrounding pregnancy and COVID-19. The study was published in the British Medical Journal, and it indicates getting COVID while pregnant increases the risk of maternal death by 7-fold. The study also revealed a wide range of other serious health risks. Their team screened 137 studies, including 12 studies from 12 different countries involving more than 13,000 pregnant women.
Women who had COVID in pregnancy had a 7 times higher risk of maternal mortality. They were more likely to end up in the ICU, more likely to need mechanical ventilation. And then we also found that they were more likely to have diagnoses like having pneumonia, preeclampsia, or blood clots.
The study also says infants born to infected pregnant women were more likely to be admitted to the NICU and to be born premature. In state news this morning, New York Attorney General Letitia James also hosted a public hearing yesterday, this to address mental health in the western part of the state.
Advocacy groups, healthcare providers, and the general public were invited to testify at the hearing. The goal is to provide James insight on mental health problems New Yorkers are experiencing and to create better access to services and resources. Elisa Tobia also testified. She shared her story about her son who took his life in 2021. She says he was a college athlete who suffered a career-ending injury and was given opioids as a prescription. While he beat that addiction, his brain chemistry was altered, she says, and as a result, he was diagnosed with a schizoaffective disorder.
His statement in that was that he was going to kill himself and that he knew why. But he was deemed a low risk in the facility, but a high risk to return to their facility. The results of this analysis are really quite nauseating. And my son would often say to me, why don't they want to help me? But my husband and I are true educators, systems people. We like to think systems work. So we always redirected him to his caregivers. Right? You're sick. Go back. Go back. They know what they're doing.
The AG was accepting testimonies throughout the day yesterday. Well, here's what some folks might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. On March 3rd, dogs and mushers will line up for the yearly Iditarod sled dog race in Alaska. And this year, Julianne Westrich from West Irondequoit School District will be joining them.
The elementary school librarian applied to be the teacher on the trail all the way back in 2021. She was one of 3 finalists this time last year, and now she beat out the competition for the highly contested position. The role of teacher on the trail is an important one. They help educators from across the country create lessons teaching kids about the Iditarod with their firsthand knowledge. Westrich will join musher Bridget Watkins for the race, and as they make their way across the snow and ice this March, Westrich says they'll be bringing mementos from West Irondequoit along for the ride.
The thing about the Iditarod is that it is a historic mail trail as well, and so each musher is required to take one piece of mail with them on the entire length of the route. It's required. If they don't have it in their bag at the end, they're disqualified. They have to have it. So our second graders each created a piece of mail that will travel in a sled.
Very cool. Students will also be sending over 200 high fives made from their handprints to Watkins, as well as dog blankets that they made. All right, 6:55 right now. James, we're going to send it over to you for the, I don't know, old school snail mail forecast.
Yeah, there you go. Well, look, you know, Alaska is really a great place to visit in the summertime. In March, not so much.
Right, a little dark up there.
Yeah, a little dark, a little snowy, a little icy as well. Good luck to them. Great to see that story there. Bus stop forecast. We've got sleet approaching. It's moving in from the south, but I think you're just okay for the middle school and high school folks this morning. But if you do go to school 9 a.m., 9:30, 10 o'clock, that's when we're going to deal with those sleet to ice and then eventually over to rain showers as we get on the return home. Here's your 8-day forecast. Tomorrow is going to be the back edge of this system, so we could be dealing with a few snow showers, maybe a slushy half-inch to inch or so accumulation. We're quiet Saturday, and then Bills game on Sunday. Keeping an eye on what could be a little bit of snow for the second half of the game. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock, but I do think the storm system may just be after that. We'll keep an eye on it. Monday, we've got some snow chances there as well.
All right, thank you, James, and thank you so much for starting your day with us.
Our next update is coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is next. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.